Doesn't the sun feel great? The real sun.
So we're back with episode 6 of Made for Love.
I want to know that you care.
I really like this episode because I think things
Shifted.
Yeah. There was a lot of sort of like filling in plot, and this was progressing the plot.
Yeah. Well, I think it was progressing all 3 main characters' stories and Fiffany. She's not totally a main character, but
I think she is.
You think so? Yeah. All right, that's fine.
I think we're gonna see her again.
Of course we're gonna see her again.
She's out to pasture.
She can't just be in the pasture cube forever.
Apparently that's what it is. He just puts people in there.
Yeah, apparently. I wonder if she'll find any former employees that are potentially still in there.
So Byron was having a creepy beach date.
Yeah, a fake creepy beach date.
Yeah, very funny.
Kristin Milioti is like really serving in this show.
Oh. Thank you.
Because she's doing the like...
We knew she was fake right away.
Of course, yeah. I was like, well, she's not real at all, like even a little bit. And so I do love that she's able to convey this like actual real world Hazel person. And then she can also be this like bot kind of facade. It's very...
But the bot was interesting because it was programmed with her updated like specs.
I guess, like all of the stuff from the merge, essentially.
But what they've learned about her out of the cube.
Correct.
And so effectively is what happened is Byron has figured out that he actually never knew her. And that if anything, this is her.
Yeah.
So he's like, in his mind, sort of courting her for the first time again.
Yeah.
that kind of logic. Because the 10 years that she was trapped, she was not behaving. I mean, she was trapped, so it wasn't honest then.
Yeah. So I find this intensely fascinating.
Yeah.
Because she because I understand the instinct to be like, you're going to put $1 million in my bank account. You want me to move to a cube? I don't have to worry about my troubles. I don't have to do low key grifts at like college campuses just to like make ends meet. 100% I'll move in with you in this cube and get married to you tonight. I understand that instinct to be like, I don't have anything to throw away. Why not? There's nothing waiting for me there. It'll be fine. But I think the fascinating part is she didn't realize what her actual personality or issues were until she had a life free of like material worry. And that is so interesting. And I think she's playing it really well, too, because even right now outside the cube, all she knows is that she doesn't want to go back. But she still is finding out who she is as a person. And I think that's really cool.
Because I don't know what this show's grand thesis statement is. In my mind, I'm weirdly wanting them back together. Like, I'm wanting them to find each other again.
For me, I think it depends on how seriously he takes being out in the world. But he also threw away a parking ticket or something off the windshield of his car, and someone was taking photographs of him do it. So that's a whole different...
Because that's the sort of... I mean, they've gone out of their way to make her character questionable, like her character questionable. He's a villain in the sense that she's trying to get away from him, and he keeps violating her consent.
Yeah.
But he's pretty villainous.
He's pretty villainous.
I guess I just still find him dreamy, but
he's super dreamy.
He's not like there's the tone of the show allows me to think that there's places to. It's a heightened reality, is what I'm saying. So you can get away with more in a heightened reality.
Yeah.
So I'm so curious to know what like I already said, the grand thesis of this show is. What is it? Where is it? Is it 1 season? Is it 3 seasons? Like, what is the big game plan here?
I agree.
I agree with you. I'm so curious to see what he's like in the real world.
Yeah.
Because I could believe that she could fall in love with him if he learned how to be a real boy. You know what I mean?
If he was going to be like a human person. But I just feel like he's going to... for me, the thing is I think he's going to do it until he wins her over again, and they're going to go right back to the hub.
Sure. I don't know. He's just so fun. Him and Bennett are so funny, too. Yeah. Maybe that's what I want. because he turned the variables up to like 10 on the date. And it was so, first of all, it was so funny watching him just dealing with like all the interruptions and stuff. But then watching him deal with them while trying to not be annoyed, like trying to be cool.
Well, and they also kept cutting to like Bennett's view of it, which is just him like interacting to all these invisible stimuli.
Should we go for a swim?
Yeah, that would be. Oh.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'll play that sport later with them.
And I just love the dog. And he's like, okay, but like, stop him. But like, he's not, because that kind of stuff happens all the time when people come up and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry about my dog. And I'm like, and yet you've done nothing, about the behavior
to keep him from continuing this behavior.
So I think I hard love Lilith. Judith.
You can call me Judith.
It's Kim Whitley.
Okay.
I know her from a lot of things, but the first thing I recognized on her IMDb was that Young and Hungry show with Emily Osment.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I think she was the housekeeper. She was always in the apartment, so.
Well, I love Judith. I personally have a love-hate relationship with the Catholic Church.
What?
I think that
Vain surprise.
Pros and cons, but well, many people are just cons. And for me, I'm in the enemy of my enemy is my friend place. And so there are times where I'm like, we need the Catholic Church to come in here and take care of this. It's not unlike when Nicole Kidman was trying to deprogram Tom Cruise.
Sure.
That's why Eyes Wide Shut took so long to film. They were having filming troubles, and it was because they were in Italy, and like her and Kubrick were trying to like jailbreak him and leave it to the Catholic Church to be able to take on Scientology.
That had worked.
It's just one of those, you're the only one I could call. Fancy seeing you here. And I find Judith's character to be fascinating because she seems to be taking her role as a nun seriously.
Yeah.
But she's taking on the church as well. Like,
yeah.
From within.
Yeah. That's what it's because she said she took her vows on purpose so that she
So she means her vows.
Yeah. Well, apparently she took a break from the cloth for a while, but then she went
The
back.
sex thing's not what I mean. What I mean is her objective is not to destroy the church.
No, it's to weed out all the bad parts. Yeah.
It's very badass. It's very righteous and badass in this really weird, cool way that I want it to be genuine. I don't want her to be another crook.
She doesn't seem like she is.
Well, she's got full control over Hazel now. It was fascinating. I was really into it. What did she do in the bathroom?
She was looking at pills and stuff. I don't know if she took them or if she so she might be like another kind of low-key grifter, but I don't know that
I want to trust her.
I don't think she's taking advantage of Hazel. If anything, she's going to take advantage of Herb.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that
so I thought that she knew about Diane.
I think we all did.
So she knows that Diane exists, but she didn't know that Diane was a sex doll. And so I thought she was going to go in there and make it look like Diane OD'd on pills. And I like my idea better.
It's like, what was that Family Guy bit where Lois's brother's wife was invisible?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like if once the narrative is written, it doesn't matter if the person's real or not. It's been established that she overdosed.
Yeah.
No, I want to believe Judith. I want to believe that this is going to work in her favor. It seems like her and Herb still have feelings for each other, especially if he lied to her about Diane.
Yeah.
He didn't want her to know about that, and she didn't bring it up.
He could just still be. He could be. I mean, because he's not embarrassed that the town knows, but he could be embarrassed if someone he used to be with knows.
I still think I think the way that scene ended, I think that they still have feelings for each other.
Well, they definitely were flirting. They definitely still have feelings. He kept choking on his coffee every time she said something about it. It was very funny.
Sex, when between two consenting partners, is the highest expression of the divine. Isn't that right, Herb?
Hazel, when she was talking about why she liked Judith, and she said she's the first person I haven't had to explain myself to.
Yeah, that was really good.
Because everyone needs to understand, because I mean, you bring up like a celebrity name, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm real into it. I'm real into that plot. So obviously we kind of blew past it, but Hazel did not die. She woke up and Fiffany has kicked all the men in her life to the curb. She punched Lyle in the face because he was not taking the hint.
Sorry.
Yeah, she like, well, the thing is she did help him a lot. She was like, this isn't enough money for you to stay at this hotel for a couple of weeks. And I just was like, that's nice. And then he was like, what's our next move? And she was like,
she's tired of doing stuff for men.
Deuces. And she just was like, no, I'm not doing it. And he was like, no. And she punched him in the face. It was great.
And we're still working on Hazel and Herb's relationship.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It wasn't exciting, but I think it was.
No, but I think it was necessary. And I think it was like getting a little bit more into Herb, which was nice because she basically was like, she ended up saying a lot of things. She was like, I was really lonely after mom died. I was like, there was all this stuff. And it was like, I think
she blamed him for her life.
Yeah. Which I mean, kind of fair.
You were done being a parent to me the second that mom died. I mean, you just have been passed out on a couch or drunk at a bar my whole life. You completely checked out.
It's yes and no. It's like,
sure.
Yeah, he absolutely didn't set you up for success.
Yeah.
However, at a certain point, not everything is.
No, not everything, but it's like she was totally right in the thing that she said, where she was like, what kind of person goes off with a sociopath the day they met? You know, girls with bad fathers. And I was like, well, that's the truth for sure. And that's the kind of thing. And then she kind of railed on the Diane thing for a minute in a way that felt realistic and not too mean, but it just was like, you're treating this inanimate object better than you ever treated me, and I'm your daughter. Like, that's a tough pill to swallow kind of a thing. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I liked when they were at the cemetery. And, that's the kind of stuff where, like, I like these glimpses into Herb's life that we have not seen and she has not seen, because her mom's not at that cemetery anymore, because the cemetery came around and was like, we'll offer you money to move these graves because we want to put in fancier ones. And so he took it because he needed the money, but he doesn't even remember where the new cemetery is because he's never been to visit his dead wife. And I'm like,
I do like the lack of judgment the show has.
That's true.
It's not a judgy show.
No. I like that too a lot.
Because the grave that was in place of her mother's, I forget what his name was, but he died doing what he loves, getting his dick wet, and Herb was really thrown by that at first, but then they pointed out it was quite literally written on the grave.
The epitaph on the grave.
At which point Herb was like, good for him.
I think he died doing what he loved. Getting his dick wet.
Oh, Jesus. Hazel.
It says.
Good for him. That's the way to go, I guess.
Yeah.